Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to Natasha Denona week. Today I'm filming not the Natasha Denona but the Jordana My Dream palette. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be switching around a few of the shades. First I'm gonna show you the palette overall as it came. Then I'm gonna show you the pans that I remove because they are not meant for my dream palette, and then I'm gonna show you the pans that I'm replacing them with and from which MIDI eyeshadow palettes from Natasha Denona they come from. So if you want to see this, then just keep on watching. Okay you guys, so when I'm analyzing this palette, the shades that I don't want on this palette, on my own Frankenpalette, they are popping. So the first one that I wouldn't choose, because if I had to choose between Familia and Carpe Diem, I would choose Familia, so I would remove Carpe Diem. Then Invention, this type of yellowy goldish shade is not my shade you guys, so I would remove this. Even though it's beautiful, it's not a shade that I would use on my as a go-to everyday shade. Then Risk, it's too reddish for me, and I've come to realize when I look at my eyeshadows and the pans that I put on my Natasha Denona palettes that I sometimes wear bricky, reddish, orangey colors, but not quite as often as I used to. So I will remove this because even when I'm seeing this palette, this is the only shade that I haven't touched, and I've been using my Dream palette quite a lot. These two shades, they were basically not disappointments for me, but these two shades, I have them on my Cranberry palette, and even though I love creating looks with those wine shades from time to time, I don't want two of a type of fuchsia shade because I think it just makes the look a certain way. It doesn't allow me for more transitions and for different tones. So those two I would remove, and those are 5 pans that I would remove from this palette so far. And then I would have to see how the overall palette looks. But other things that I feel when I look at this palette is that even though it's beautiful, it has a trio chrome, it has a beautiful black, which I love, a dark brown that has a little more red tone to it. I would like a more neutral brown and a darker shimmery brown. Then also I would like an inner corner highlight. That for me is key. And then I would like other colors that would go on the lid that are not the ones that are here. Even though they're gonna be neutral, I prefer tones on the pinkier side because those are the shades that I wear. That's why I wore a pop of pink from the Mini Love palette today, even though the rest of the eyeshadows are from this Dream palette. Okay you guys, so this is how the palette is looking like, and I'm gonna be grabbing my MIDI palettes and tell you guys which shades of those I will grab. I have a few in mind that for sure I'm going to put in this palette, but I'm not quite sure of the 5 that I'm gonna choose yet. Okay, so first things first. From the Metropolis palette, I didn't grab any shades because those shades are not ones that I would put on a Dream palette that I would create. And also maybe some of the browns, but I have enough brownie colors here and on the rest of the palettes that I have here that I don't need to pick any from that palette. And then also the pastel palette. I wanted that palette to have a lilac, sort of like the ABH Nouveau type of lilac shade or the Sienna one from the Tropic palette, but I don't have any mini size lilacs. And lilac is one of those shades that I can wear on its own all over the lid with a black and mascara, and that would be my go-to pastel look. But I'm good with the trio chrome that the Dream palette has, since none of the midi size palettes that I own, which I think I own them all, has a lilac or any pop of color that I would like to have on a Dream palette. The first color that I'm choosing is the shade Awakening from the Sunrise palette, and this was the first eyeshadow that I chose to go on the first Frankenpalette that I created, and it was the first one that I hit pan on, and I was expanding the pan so much that I decided to keep switching my Frankenpalette. But this is a beautiful shade. It looks similar to Babies in the pan, but it's not quite the same. So I'm gonna put this on the palette right here underneath the black, and then at the end I will swatch my Dream palette so you guys can see the color story. Transitions for me are key to make a palette or looks from a palette different. That's why I removed Edgy and the other fuchsia shade, Instinct, from the Dream palette because those do not give me that much variety. But then from the bronze palette, I chose the shade Beach, which goes in the corner here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful mid-tone color that's perfect for a transition and that has warmth to it, but it's not quite yellow. And then you can see here in the Dream palette that I have Unity and Nurture, which are one more on the cool tone side and one that's more on the orangey side. So these will be a great transition shade. From the Glam palette, I grabbed Outer Lid, which is a dark shimmery brown, and then Brow Bone, which is basically an inner corner highlight that has a hint of pink to it, and it reminds me a lot of a shade that comes in the Aries palette and also in the Cranberry palette. That is one of my favorite shades for an inner corner highlight or as an all over the lid type of light cut crease look. This one right here is Brow Bone from Glam, and then this one right here is Carpe Diem from the Glam palette. So I have only one spot left, and I think that would be the end of this palette, but I'm not sure if I want to rotate one more because I don't have a dark cool tone brown. When I put these shades right here, this one looks almost purple to it, and it gives a different sort of point to the palette, but maybe it's not what I would prefer. So maybe I will be switching this one up, or I don't know yet. I'm gonna see when I put the last eyeshadow if I need to switch this one up. Okay, you guys, so I ended up not using the Sendo palette, the Retro palette, and the Love palette, and I chose another shade from the Glam palette, and it's the shade Smoke, which is a dark brown that is not super, super dark, but that I will use every single day. So this would be definitely my dream palette, and I know it may look boring, it may not look like much, you guys, but just the fact that from the 5 shades that I chose, 4 of them have peony in them. That tells you a lot. I have a huge eyeshadow palette collection, and then for me to have peony shades is not as easy because Natasha Denona palettes, a lot of my palettes I can use on clients, but Natasha Denona palettes I only use on my own. So let's do a close-up of the palette, and I will swatch it for you so you guys can see the end result. Okay, you guys, so that was it for the entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you're enjoying Natasha Denona week. I'm gonna be enjoying my Jordana Dream palette the way it is because I already filmed the rest of the other videos that I wanted to use for this Natasha Denona week. So I'm gonna keep this palette as I created it, as a Frankenpalette of some sort. I haven't been using a Frankenpalette for a while since I dismantled my big Frankenpalette. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. If you stay till the end, then thank you so much. It means the world to me. I'm gonna leave every palette that I used to create my Franken Dream palette below, and I'm using my Natasha Denona Dream palette as it came and the Mini Love palette to create my eye look today, if you wanted to know that. And then also the Natasha Denona My Dream lipstick on my lips today. And the Natasha Denona Tan palette on my cheeks mixed with the Gucci blush in Rosy Beige. So that's it, you guys. I love you. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow for another episode on my Natasha Denona week. Bye.